This weekend, Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker in Qatar. This is a good card. We're getting another live audience for this fight night. Finally, good card. Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker for the main event, facing off. This is a kind of weird one because we're kind of expecting Max Holloway or Paddy Pimblett to be fighting Arman. But it does make sense for why both of these fighters are taking this fight, because, you know, Arman, he sees it as an easy layup win just to get it out of the way, to get back into another title shot. And Dan Hooker's looking at this, oh, if I beat Arman, I'm getting the title shot after an upset win. So it makes sense why they're both taking this fight. And yeah, good card. I mean, usually these Qatar cards, you know, Abu Dhabi, these Middle Eastern cards, they get amazing fight nights. So for some reason, but anyways, good card, such stacked card. I can't wait for this card. But yeah, 15 fights, by the way, 15 fights for this fight night. So a lot of fights. So let's just quickly get over this fight night with my predictions. Starting off with the heavyweight fight, Bujlo versus Freeman. Bujlo, Polish power. Yeah, he's from Poland. 6'4", huge, 240. He's kind of lean in his fights. He's not exactly like in shape, but he's, you know, relatively in better shape than the rest of the heavyweights. He's undefeated, 6-0. All 6 fights, all by first round finish. So he's looking very, very good. This Freeman guy is 6-1, so, you know, he has 6 wins of himself, but those 6 wins are not as impressive as Bujlo's 6 wins. You know, he's been going to like second round. It's a bit of back and forth in his fights. You know, he's not really dominating his opponents. He lost in the PFL, so he's not looking as good. He's 6'2", slightly older. He's 34. Bujlo, 32. Slightly shorter reach. He's 260. Not like a Tom Aspinall 260, just like a fat 260. So there you go. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Bujlo. I'm gonna trust in Bujlo. It's kind of hard to gauge these guys compared to each other, but I'm gonna go with Bujlo. He's looking much better. First round finishes, taller, more in shape. He's a good grappler. I'm gonna go with Bujlo. I'm gonna bet on him continuing his 6-fight winning streak, first round finish. So I'm gonna go with 7-0 first round finish against Freeman. I got Bujlo. I don't know, ground and pound finish. Next up, welterweight Dalby versus Izagakhmaev. Dalby right now is, you know, he's not a 2-fight losing streak. Lost to Randy Brown. Now, I'm not a big fan of the Randy Brown performance against Bonfim. What is wrong with you, Randy Brown? Like, oh my goodness, he should have won that fight. But anyways, back to this fight. He got chinned pretty badly by Randy Brown. Randy Brown is really good. You should not have lost to Bonfim. But anyways, back to this fight. He lost to Randy Brown by KO. And then before that, came to a very close decision. Lost to Renat. That was a very good fight for Dalby. Very close. He arguably won that fight. And Renat is very good. So it's not a bad loss at all. Borderline won it. Good performance. And then before that, he beat Bonfim. I mean, granted, Bonfim was destroying what's his name? Dalby for the first round, was destroying him. Held him down, ground and pound. Second round comes, Bonfim was winning, gassed pretty badly, and Dalby took the initiative. He took that advantage of kneeing a gassed Bonfim and KO'd him. So yes, Bonfim was gassed, but he still got the win. It shows that he has some smarts, you know, some fight IQ, because some fighters are stupid. They let their opponent recover while they're gassed and lose. So it shows that Dalby isn't a retard. So yeah, pretty good. And he also has some decent wins in the UFC as well. He beat D-Rod. I forgot his other dude's name. He has some pretty good wins in the UFC. So he's not that bad at all, even though he's, you know, 2-fight losing streak. Izagakhmaev guy is coming from the 1FC. He only has like a few fights in the 1FC, so he's not been fighting in the 1FC for a long time. A few fights. Before that, he's still on a winning streak. And before that, and then before his winning streak, he lost to a dude named like Carlston Harris, something like that. And this Carlston Harris is now in the UFC. And in 2025, he got chinned by Santiago Ponzinibbio. So how are you losing to a dude who just got chinned by Santiago Ponzinibbio in 2025? Now I know that is MMA math, but like, like this Izagakhmaev guy is not looking to even that great in his fights as well. He's not like looking like some straight up monster. He mainly just grapples and is not. I don't know. I'm going with Dalby, bro. I'm gonna go Dalby. He borderline beat Renat. lost to Randy Brown, who's really good, who should have not lost to Bonfim. But anyways, he's very good. I'm gonna go with Dalby. You know, he's been getting a bunch of wins he's been getting a bunch of good wins in the UFC. This was making his debut. 31, 41. Yeah, I mean, the only reason you can probably guess Dalby is gonna lose because it's the age difference. But I don't know. I'm gonna go with Dalby. I just trust in him. Dalby. Decision win. I'm gonna go decision win. Dalby. Lightweight Aliev versus Rock. Now Aliev is undefeated. This dude looks like Khabib, by the way. Just look at this dude. Khabib with like a shorter beard, and if he dyed his hair like brown. That is no. He literally. But anyways, lightweight Aliev versus Rock. He's undefeated. He's 2-0 in the UFC. He made his debut against Rafael Alves. He was dominating in the grappling. There was a few moments it got a little bit hairy for Aliev where Alves got him in a submission attempt and like in a guillotine choke, I think. So it was looking a little bit risky for Aliev in a few moments in that fight, but he still dominated. He still won the fight. And then he out-grappled his last opponent. I forgot his name. And so, you know, he's showing pretty good grappling. Not exactly a Khabib. He just looks like him. But not exactly a Khabib, I would say. Or maybe like an earlier Khabib. Maybe you could compare Aliev to. But he's still looking very good. Rock is making his debut from I forgot which promotion. But he's making his debut. He's a submission artist. He has a bunch of submissions in his resume in the regional scene. And because you can probably think, oh, Aliev got put in a submission attempt against Rafael Alves, and Rock has a submission game. Oh, he's gonna submit Aliev. I don't think so. If you look at Rock's fights, he's kind of slow on the feet, not good striking, and his overall grappling isn't, I wouldn't say like dominant. I would say it's like just good enough to be beating like these regional fighters. Aliev, I would say like just overall like ground control, scrambles. It's much better than Rock's. Rock has a submission game, the submission the submission threat, but I don't think it's good enough to put Aliev out to get him in a submission and win. Rafael Alves is pretty good, and Aliev was able to survive that. And I'm pretty sure he was already 2 fights in the UFC. That was his debut fight against Alves. Rock is now making his debut. I'm with Aliev. Realistically, he should win. Aliev is, I would say, much better on the feet and on the ground, especially even if he doesn't have a submission game and Rock does. I'm going with Aliev. Winning this by decision win. Yeah, or maybe because it's the sub. I'm gonna go with Aliev decision win. By control time. Middleweight Naurdiev versus Loder. Now this is an interesting one because Naurdiev already fought in the UFC years ago. Was doing kind of okay. He was losing only by being out grappled in his fights. His last fight was Sean Brady. He got dominated. Obviously, Sean Brady is pretty good. Bro, Sean Brady should not have gotten trimmed by Morales, bro. Sean Brady was an idiot by standing and banging with Morales. Why were you doing that? Look, I don't even understand why Sean Brady just didn't go for the takedown like straight away. I do not understand. Anyways, I'm getting a little bit off track. Naurdiev lost to Sean Brady, got cut. Did his thing in the regional scene, did his thing, got re-signed against Bruno Silva in the UFC. Now, granted, this was a Bruno Silva who was in a losing streak and just like unmotivated to fight. He was coming off the Weidman loss, and he got matched up with Naurdiev, and Naurdiev was doing pretty good against this version of Bruno Silva, not the Bruno Silva that fought Alex Pereira. He did pretty good in this version of Bruno Silva. He was out-striking him on the feet, out wrestling him on the ground, and it was a good decision win for Naurdiev. And then he gets matched up against his last fight against the Iron Turtle. And he was doing kind of decent in the first round. It was good back and forth against the Iron Turtle. And then the second round comes and lands an illegal knee on the Iron Turtle. And somehow the Iron Turtle becomes like a Super Saiyan. In that region of the world, the anime is pretty big, I think. And so he got motivated by Goku, turned Super Saiyan, and started to out-grapple the Naurdiev. Just straight up ground and pounding and he didn't finish him, but just started ground and pounding him, out-grappling him. Destroyed him in the second second part of their fight, and he obviously won the fight. Naurdiev lost, so it's not a good visual for Naurdiev, especially because he's going up against Loder, who's an All-American wrestler, pretty good grappler. He does some ground and pound. He fought, what was his name, Robert Valentin for his tough finale. Fought him, They're pretty good in the grappling. Was keeping Valentin down. There was a moment where he got his back taken, but it was more of a mistake by Loder, letting Valentin get to his back. But yeah, he still got back up. He still reversed Valentin, and by the end of the first round ends. Second round comes, puts Valentin in a crucifix and just ground and pounds finishes him. So he made a bigger statement in the second round with his grappling and finishing potential. And now he made his debut against what's his name? Is it Azamat or Almakhan? Something like that. Almakhan fought him, defended Azamat's takedowns. They're pretty nice defending those takedowns, and then got chinned on the feet against Almakhan, because Almakhan does have power. He has decent power. I want to say his striking is that amazing, but he does have pretty good power, and chinned Ryan Loder. So it kind of tells you where Ryan Loder's at and the striking himself. He's not too defensively sound on the feet. Naurdiev does not have the power of Almakhan, and in general, he doesn't really have much power. He doesn't really drop people on the feet. His striking is a little bit one-dimensional. It's not too crazy. It's very basic. He's not gonna chin Loder. What I'm trying to say, he's not gonna chin him. He's not gonna drop him, and he kind of does struggle in the grappling. And Loder is a pretty good grappler, so I'm gonna go with Loder. Actually, I'm gonna go with Loder winning this by a decision, control time. I don't see him submitting Naurdiev. Maybe he does submit him in the third round. You know what? I'm gonna go Loder's third round submission. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm gonna go with Loder. But yeah, I still got Loder winning this fight. I don't know why he's the underdog, but yeah. Next up, Almakhan versus Topuria. This one's a good one. Toptoro, obviously Aliev's brother. Almakhan, he's 1-1 in the UFC. He lost his debut fight against Umar Nurmagomedov. Just got laid and prayed for 3 rounds straight. Whoa, that was so exciting to watch, right? Watching a Dagestani lay and pray against an opponent for 3 to 5 rounds straight is super impressive and super exciting. We love MMA because we love to see his wrestling and not mixed martial arts. We do not want to see striking at all. We do not want to see boxing. We do not want to see kickboxing. We do not want to see judo. We do not want to see submissions like BJJ. Just wrestling straight. We want to see wrestling and MMA. Okay, back to this fight. Almakhan lost to Umar. He just got laid and prayed for 3 rounds straight. And then his last fight, he got matched up against Brad Katona. I mean, it was kind of going back a little bit back and forth in the first round. And then Brad Katona went for a lower change in range, and Almakhan landed an uppercut on a lower change in Brad Katona and chinned him and dropped him and finished him. So it was a pretty good performance, first round finish for Almakhan. But Brad Katona is not Ilia Topuria, especially in the boxing. Oh no, not Ilia. Alexander Topuria. Alexander Topuria, really good, very good at boxing, very good defensively sound. He's very good. His defense is really good. If you can kind of categorize Ilia and Alexander, Ilia is the offense and Alexandre, right, is the defense type. So I guess if you kind of describe both of them. But Topuria, good, very good technical boxer, really good offensive and wrestling, and his scrambles are very good. Very good performance against Kobe Thickness or Thicknessy. I don't know how you pronounce his name. Kobe Thickness, very good performance, and Kobe Thickness is doing pretty good right now in the UFC. So good performance for Topuria, and I just think he's gonna beat Almakhan. His brother is Ilia. He has Ilia as a training partner. He has Merab as a training partner. He has a very good help outside of the octagon with Ilia and Merab, and he's looking very good. He's focusing now on his MMA career rather than just helping Ilia with his. So. And he's 29, so he's not, he's still very young, relatively. He has a couple, 1 or 2 years to hit his prime, and he's already looking very good. He's looking very good, champ potential, type of good. So I'm with Ilia winning this fight, domination. Now the thing is, Topuria doesn't really have the power of an Ilia, but Topuria or Alexander, he's still very technical, and he can still find the KO just by being technical, having the speed, having the timing. It's not all about power, KOing your opponents. So I'm gonna go with Alexander, just straight up dominating Almakhan, putting a beating on him on the ground and on the feet. Easy win for Alexander Topuria. So yeah, I don't know about decision or finish, but I'm gonna go with decision. I don't know. But yeah, next up, flyweight Tagir Ulanbekov versus Kyoji Horiguchi. This one's a good one. Kyoji returning making his re-debut into the UFC. It's been a long time since he's fought in the UFC. He only lost once in the UFC against DJ while DJ was champ. So it is not a bad loss at all. In that fight, he was kind of just getting like laid and prayed by DJ. So I guess we can kind of call it a boring performance as well by DJ. Boring performance by DJ. And then after that, went on a winning streak, like a 3-fight winning streak after DJ. The DJ lost in the UFC, got cut or or maybe he left. I don't know exactly. He left the UFC on a winning streak, and then kept on his winning streak in the regional scene. He kept it going. I think he was like 13 fights, a 13-fight winning streak after the DJ loss in 4 years, and that was pretty crazy. His winning streak got stopped against Kai Asakura. So zoinks. I mean, that's not looking like a great loss. You know, Kai Asakura is doing very bad in the UFC, but still he got the Kai Asakura win back, or the loss back, because he chinned Kai Asakura in the rematch. They rematched right away after that loss, and Koji got the loss back. So, you know, he got it back. So it's not too bad that he lost against Kai in the first fight. And then later on, like, he goes a couple fights winning streak, and then it matches up against Sergio Perez and Patchy Mix in Bellator, and loses to both of them. He lost to Sergio Perez by KO. He was not doing too bad in that fight. He was doing, he was in and out. Very good karate stance by KOG. Very good karate. Good timing. Good combinations inside the pocket. The only reason I would say he lost to Patchy Mix and Sergio is because those fights were taking place at bantamweight, and Kyoji is a small flyweight, by the way. He's a small flyweight. He's really small at bantamweight, and I would only contribute those losses mostly to Kyoji just being really small and Patchy Mix and Sergio Perez just being much bigger. So, and the thing is, bantamweight is not that far off from flyweight when it comes to skill, compared to from lightweight to welterweight, or welterweight to like a middleweight. Like, flyweight to bantamweight is not that far off in skill. So it does make sense why Kyoji lost to Patchy Mix and Sergio Perez, because of the size gap. But either way, he rematched Sergio Perez and Ryzen like later on. Like, I think it was last year that fight took place, and beat Sergio Perez. So he got that loss back as well. So he avenged his Sergio Perez and Kai Sakura loss, and now he's in the UFC in the same promotion as Patchy Mix. Maybe we can see that fight as well, Kyoji versus Patchy Mix soon, if he wins or loses this fight. Patchy Mix is on a losing streak, so and Kyoji loses against Tagir, that fight could probably be rebooked, probably bantamweight, if he wants to go back up to bantamweight, but still. But anyways, back to this fight, Tagir Ulanbekov. He's on a, he's doing pretty good in the UFC. Only lost to Tim Elliott. Now, granted, even though he did lose to Tim Elliott is getting wins in 2025. He just beat Kaya Sakura in 2025, who beat Kyoji. So I guess MMA math is a little bit, it makes sense. It's not that, it's making the Tim Elliott loss not look as bad for Tagir. Aside from that, he has pretty good wins. He beat Bruno Silva. He beat Nascimento. He beat Carpenter. These are pretty good wins for Ulanbekov, showing that he's a really good grappler. And he did borderline lose to Maxim, and Maxim is 0-3. So I guess that does take a bit away from his winnings in the UFC. But either way, stylistically on the feet, Kyoji is better than Tagir. Tagir is kind of one-dimensional. He's not really that good on the feet. Kyoji is much better. The karate stance, the karate, blitz. That he gets into range in and out very quickly. Good inside boxing. He's gonna be better than Tagir and on the striking. Especially this is taking place at flyweight. There's not a bantamweight. There's gonna be no huge weight advantage. Kyoji is gonna cut down to this weight class, Tagir as well. So it's gonna be kind of close. I don't know if Tagir out grapples Kyoji and just lays and prays on him. Kyoji has he has developed pretty good grappling since the DJ loss. So I don't know. That's kind of iffy. You kind of just, if you're gonna bank on Tagir, it's probably because he's gonna lay and pray on Kyoji. Kyoji is good enough to not get submitted by Tagir, to not get submitted by Patchy Mix while Patchy Mix is on your back. Kyoji was reversing Patchy Mix, by the way, a much bigger Patchy Mix who, getting to your back and submitting you is his bread and butter, and Kyoji survived it. So It shows that Kyoji is realistically not gonna get subbed by Tagir at all. You know, it's a flyweight who doesn't have a scary submission game as Pechi Mix. I'm gonna go Kyoji. I'm gonna go Kyoji. He's 35. He's 34. Even though, you know, I guess you can say Kyoji is much older when it comes to like the wear and tear. You know, he's having way more fights than Tagir. They're not that far off in age. He's fighting at flyweight, which is, you know, is a more favorable weight division for Kyoji. I'm gonna go Kyoji. He's gonna win his re-debut in the UFC. I'm gonna go Kyoji. Light heavyweight, Yakhyaev versus Cerquira. Now, I'm not gonna go too deep into this one because, I mean, there's really not much to go off. Yakhyaev is coming off a Dana White Contender Series in August. Got a 30-second KO. Cerquira guy is 0-3 in the UFC. Yakhyaev is undefeated. Good finishing potential. Cerquira is getting finished. He already fought Ibo Aslan, a Turkish fighter, and got chinned in the first round. I'm gonna go with a Turkish fighter chinning Cerquira in the first round. And probably Cerquira's gonna get cut after this. So yeah, I got Yakhyaev winning this one. First round finish. Wait, Bogdan Grad versus Luke Riley. Now Luke Riley is one of the more famous fighters outside of the UFC when it comes to like the regional scene. You know, Luke Riley has been talked a lot from being like he has a good chance to become champ in the future. I don't think so. I'm not high on Luke Riley, and when it comes to his striking, his footwork, his timing, his speed. He's been getting like finishes, but like if you look at those fights, they're kind of weird. I'll be honest, especially the fighters he's been beating, they look straight up like mailmen. Just saying, they look like mailmen. His grappling is very questionable. Bogdan Grad, he's like I mean, he made his first Dana White Contender Series like years ago against Tom Nolan. Lost to Tom Nolan, and Tom Nolan is very good. That is a very good aging loss for Bogdan Grad. He fought again in Dana White Contender Series against Axwell Maxim, something like that, and it's a pretty good win for that one. Then it got matched up against I forgot his name. It was some Bogdan Grad got the win. And then his last fight was against Muhammad Naurdiev, and then that fight was he wouldn't do that bad, especially because Muhammad is very good. Like even though Muhammad cheats a lot, he like glove grabs, eye pokes. He's still very good. Bogdan Grad did pretty good in the grappling against Muhammad Naurdiev. Was pressuring a lot in the grappling. They didn't do too bad in the striking. Was able to keep up with Muhammad. I would say his head movement is probably his biggest weakness. His head movement, because he kind of does get into range, not really like changing, like getting out of the way of the shots and stuff. But he does have he's pretty big. He's pretty muscular. I don't know if that helps him like tank shots better. I don't trust in Luke Riley beating Bogdan Grad, especially because the way Bogdan Grad was looking at his grappling, and Luke Riley in his last fight in the regional scene and the Cage Warriors, he was getting out grappled for like a whole round. Second round comes, he was still getting out grappled, and then the dude quits. Like he literally just stops grappling him, goes up against the cage, and just starts getting teed off by Luke Riley and finished. How do you go from out grappling your opponent for like a round and a half straight, and then just letting him KO you up against the cage, and you just don't defend yourself? I don't know. I don't understand that type of thinking, or like I don't know what the fighter was thinking of. But yeah, Luke Riley kept on his winning streak after getting out grappled. Questionable, very questionable. But anyways, I'm gonna go Bogdan Grad. If these fights aren't getting fixed, realistically, Bogdan Grad should be Luke Riley. Bogdan Grad has a pretty good chin. He tanked a spinning kick from Muhammad Naurdiev straight to the dome and survived. Like didn't really get wobbled by it. He got a little bit wobbled, but not exactly. He has a pretty good chin. Luke Riley is not gonna chin Bogdan Grad. I don't think so. And Bogdan has a grappling advantage. And he already has like a couple fights in the UFC. He had a pretty good performance against Muhammad Naurdiev. I'm gonna go Bogdan Grad. Just saying. Decision win. Now onto the main card. Finally to the main card. 6 fights left. A lot of fights this fight night. Just saying. But flyweight, Alex Perez versus Almabayev. This one's it's a good one. Perez, good boxing. Really technical boxer. I want to say his power is that crazy, but he has some kind of a decent power enough to like drop you, I guess. His grappling is a little bit like not that good. Now, granted, when he gets out grappled and subbed, it is against a Pantoja, a Figueiredo, a Yakhyaev, a Tatura Taira. These are monster grapplers. So obviously, you can't really take too much away from Perez getting out grappled by those 4 guys, those 4 losses in the UFC. But he's still getting out grappled, and Almabayev has very sneaky takedowns. I would say Almabayev probably has better takedowns than Yakhyaev. I would say overall Yakhyaev has a better grappling when it comes to like his scrambles, his able to keep you down. But Almabayev has very sneaky takedowns. His timing on those takedowns are very quick, very very accurate, super good takedowns from Almabayev. He's probably realistically gonna take down Perez. Perez did a pretty good job against the Taira Taira for the first round, defending the takedowns, and then he couldn't defend the takedowns in the second round and got subbed by. I think he got like ground and pound finished by Tatura Taira, or did he get subbed? I don't remember. He got finished by Tatura Taira in the second round of his fight. I'm going with Almabayev. I do think he's pretty good. Almabayev only lost to Manel Kape in the UFC. Now Manel Kape was cheating a lot in that fight. He was eye poking Almabayev. But the thing is, Perez does good boxing, but he's not a striker like Manel Kape. So I'm gonna go with Almabayev. Just saying. I don't think Perez is not a good striker like Manel Kape. He kind of struggles in the grappling. I'm going with Almabayev. Almabayev, his striking himself is not that great. It's a little bit one-dimensional. He only has like a right overhand really, and he does like to catch your kicks and to go get to your bag for those takedowns. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Almabayev winning this fight. Decision win. Heavyweight Sergey Spivac versus Shamil Gaziev. This one is actually, in my opinion, this is actually kind of 50-50 because they're both. I want to say their striking is like really good from either or. They both have like slightly above average striking. Their grappling it's okay. It's pretty good. Sergey Spivac did get a judo takedown on Jolton Almeida, so that was a pretty good visual for Spivac to have. Get that takedown. He did get reversed, but it is a Jolton Almeida. Good striking. I would say realistically, whoever wins this fight is whoever gets a takedown first. Whoever gets a takedown first between Shamil Gaziev and Spivac wins the fight, because I don't think Spivac or Gaziev has like the athleticism to get back to on their feet or like reverse either or. But yeah, I would lean towards Shamil Gaziev slightly on the feet. I almost said on the fight. In the feet. Slightly longer reach, slightly. I would say he has. He does have pretty good KO power. Spivac doesn't really have the power at heavyweight to like KO stiff the fighters. Shamil has. He chinned Peterson. Shamil, he kind of struggled taking down Rosenstrike in his fight. I'm laughing because I remember he literally got KO'd via cardio in that fight. It was a 4th round. It was a 3-rounder, so I don't think it's gonna take too much effect in this fight. When it comes to his cardio. So, but yeah, he wasn't doing too bad against Rosenstrike. Rosenstrike is a pretty good striker. He did do pretty good in the first round. Took down Rosenstrike in the first round, and then they kind of went downhill after the first round against Rosenstrike. But I don't know. If Shamil is improving his striking, improving his everything, he's gonna win. Obviously, Spivac as well is has the ability to improve. But I don't know. I'm not trusting Spivac. I'm gonna go with Shamil actually. I'm gonna go with Shamil. Slightly striking advantage with his power. Slightly better striking. Very close. I don't think it's like leagues apart the striking between these two. But I would say Shamil has like the more edge to his striking. And offensively, I don't know. I feel like Shamil can probably defend Spivac's takedowns, and Spivac can defend Gaziev's takedowns. Whoever gets the other guy down first wins with a ground and pound. They're gonna have a huge damage they're gonna be a hidden damage with a ground and pound. So like I said, whoever gets the takedown first wins. But I'm gonna lean towards Shamil. He isn't losing as bad as Spivac. Spivac's been getting KO'd a couple times already. Shamil only lost by cardio. I'm gonna go Shamil. KO finish. Ground and pound KO finish. Second round. Welterweight. Jack Hermansson versus Meditic Orolbai. This one's a good one. Now, at first, I was thinking, wow, this is a lightweight against a middleweight. But I literally forgot Meditic made his debut at welterweight. And actually, if you look at the regional fights, most of them were at welterweight. So realistically, this is not a lightweight versus a middleweight. This is just a welterweight who fought like a couple times at lightweight, fighting a middleweight at welterweight. That was a lot of weights, but you know what I mean. Welterweight. Jack Hermansson, he is a vet. He's been in the UFC for a long time. He's been, recently, since he's ever got into the rankings, he's been going like winning one, losing one, winning one, losing one. And now his last two fights, he beat Joe Pyfer, a pretty good aging win. He outclassed Joe Pyfer in the last three fights. Realistically, it was more like Joe Pyfer gassing out, but Jack Hermansson was still able to tank Joe Pyfer's best shots at middleweight, tanked them, and kept on pushing. Won the last three rounds. Cardio, better. Having striking fundamentals, grappling. It was a good one for Joe Pyfer. A good one for Jack Hermansson beating Joe Pyfer. That win is aging beautifully each time Joe Pyfer gets in the cage. But either way, he lost to who did he lose to last? He lost to Rodriguez, to RoboCop, and that was a pretty nasty KO by RoboCop. He straight up almost. Hermansson was on the ground for like a couple like minutes after he got dropped by RoboCop. But yeah, this is taking place at welterweight. Jack Hermansson is 37. He's much older now. The weight cuts are getting harder, and so I would assume Jack Hermansson doesn't really cut that much for middleweight, and so that's why he's coming down to welterweight. I don't know. It's kind of weird because I guess he can make the weight cut for welterweight. He doesn't really have too much power at middleweight, so it's not like he's gonna have crazy power at welterweight. He is pretty good, like skill wise. But we're coming off the UFC 322 Islam versus JDM. Islam dominated JDM. I got that one wrong. That pick wrong. I'm gonna have to rely on Meditic Orolbai with lighter man skill, especially because he already fought at lightweight. Had a close fight with Mateusz Rebecki. He had another fight at lightweight. His last fight was at catchweight. It wasn't lightweight, so it makes sense why he's fighting at welterweight right now. He's been fighting at welterweight mostly his whole career as well. He's gonna be more skilled. He's 27. Even though he went to war with Meditic Orolbai, he hasn't been getting finished against like a Jack Hermansson who's been getting like finished at middleweight. He's gonna be slightly more drained at welterweight, so he's gonna be a little bit more chinny. Meditic Orolbai is gonna have the speed advantage. He's 5'10". Jack Hermansson is 6'1". So there's gonna be a height advantage, but I don't think Meditic Orolbai is gonna be small in there. Jack Hermansson is a little bit big. He's not really small at middleweight, but he is a little bit frame wise, muscular size. He is a little bit small. Meditic Orolbai can out-grapple Hermansson for sure. Out-grapple him, and I'm going with Meditic Orolbai. I can't deny with how many we have endless examples of lighter man skill being real. Like the lighter man going up to a weight class and dominating. Meditic Orolbai is a welterweight naturally. Jack Hermansson is going down from middleweight to welterweight. Now the thing is, I do also want to say Jack Hermansson beat two welterweights already. Now granted, it was at middleweight. He beat Kevin Gastelum and Chris Curtis. He beat both of them, and those guys are. I would say Kevin Gastelum is doing pretty horrible at welterweight, and Chris Curtis made his welterweight debut. Well, Chris Curtis was fighting at welterweight before the UFC. Made his debut at middleweight and stuck with it up until his last fight. I forgot his name. It was Max Griffin, I think he fought at welterweight. He won the fight, so it shows that Chris Curtis isn't that bad at welterweight. So I guess you can kind of say, maybe Jake Hermansson only won because of size, because they're kind of like welterweight size middleweights. But I don't know. I'm gonna rely on Middleton Orolbai, you know, being much more skilled than Chris Curtis, much more skilled than Kevin Gastelum at welterweight. I don't know. Maybe Jake Hermansson does win this one. No, I can't deny lighter man skill. I'm gonna go with Middleton Orolbai. 3-round domination. Maybe he submits Jake Hermansson in the third. But I'm gonna go with Middleton Orolbai. I cannot deny lighter man skill anymore. Light heavyweight. I mean, Volkan Oezdemir versus Alonzo Menifield. It's a good fight. Not bad. Volkan Oezdemir has been fighting in the rankings ever since his debut against OSP. He beat a ranked OSP and never left the rankings ever since. He is 8-7 in the UFC. And he's like borderline lost half of his fights. But at the same time, his losses in the UFC are not bad at all. He lost to Prime DC, Prime Reyes, I guess you can say just Jiri, Prime. He did lose to Anthony Smith, but the Anthony Smith he lost to, the fight after that went 5 rounds with John Jones. So you can borderline say like a Prime Anthony Smith, even though Anthony Smith has looked as a joke in 2025. That version of Anthony Smith went 5 rounds with John Jones, so it's not a bad loss at the time against Anthony Smith. He was on a huge winning streak as well, Anthony Smith. So I'm just trying to make it seem not as bad. But yeah, he lost to Aliev, Olberg. So he's losing to very good fighters, not Alonzo Menifield. He's not losing to the Alonzo Menifields at light heavyweight. He's getting the wins over the Alonzo Menifields at lightweight. That's why he's been staying ranked. And so I'm gonna go with Oezdemir beating Alonzo Menifield. I just can't choose. I mean, the thing is, Menifield himself is not that good. His striking is very basic, very like 1-2s type of style of boxing. He doesn't really have good combinations. His timing is a little bit off. His footwork is a little bit off. Oezdemir has very good boxing. Even though he did get like destroyed by Ankalaev, it's Ankalaev. Ankalaev is still very good. I'm gonna go with Oezdemir just outboxing Menifield and chinning him. You know, Oezdemir just chinned. I mean, Johnny Walker is chinny, but he's been chinning a couple of dudes at light heavyweight his whole career. He's gonna probably chin Alonzo Menifield in the first round. I got first round finish for Oezdemir. Oezdemir went to a close decision with Olberg. He went to war with Olberg, almost beat Olberg, you're saying. So in 2024 to almost beat Olberg, or was it 2025 when that fight happened? No, I think it was 2024 when he fought Olberg. So he recently went to war with Olberg. Olberg right now is like close to a title shot. Might be fighting Alex Pereira soon. So for Oezdemir to have that type of performance against Olberg, he still got it. At 36, he still got it. Alonzo Menifield, he is 38. He's even older. So I'm with Oezdemir. He realistically wins this fight. Much better boxing, much better footwork, much bigger. Alonzo Menifield really only has like power. I want to say he's not that technical. But yeah, I'm going to go with Oezdemir getting it done. First round KO. Co-main of the whole card, welterweight Belal Muhammad versus Ian Machado Garry. This one is a banger. In terms of names, now we would have rather seen Muhammad versus Usman. That didn't happen. I don't know why Usman didn't take this fight, but Ian Garry is, let's be honest, we gotta give him props. He is, fighting a lot to earn himself a title shot soon. And obviously, if he wins this fight, let's say he dominates Belal Muhammad, a former champ, he probably goes to fight for the title soon. He beat Prates, so he has the priority of a title shot soon over Prates. Maybe they give it to Morales to fight on Islam, and then they probably do Ian Garry versus Shavkat. I don't know. I forgot Shavkat even existed. I just remembered. But anyways, Belal Muhammad, he is a little bit. He's very underrated. Very technical boxer. I mean, even for me to say he's underrated after he was champ earlier this year in 2025, it shows how underrated. How underrated he is. That he was champ earlier this year and people like write him off easily. Very good boxer. He has no power. That's like his biggest issue. He has no power. 0 knockdowns in his UFC career. 0 knockdowns. He almost knocked down Gilbert Burns, and Gilbert Burns lost the fight probably because he was only thinking not to get knocked down in that fight. He was like, "Oh God, I can't. I don't mind losing to Belal Muhammad. I just do not want to get knocked down by Belal." Like that's what I'm pretty sure Gilbert was thinking in that fight, and that's why he lost. and started his losing streak. But yeah, Belal Muhammad, he's still very good. Very technical boxer. No power at all. Good offensive wrestling, especially he mixes in the striking and the wrestling together. Damn, almost lost my voice. He mixes them pretty nicely. Does a good job mixing them. Couldn't take down JDM, and JDM just got destroyed by Islam. So it kind of makes you question how good Belal's wrestling is in this day and like right now. But yeah, Ian Machado Garry, I would say he's much better with when it comes to the grappling than JDM. His grappling is actually very underrated offensively and defensively. He was able to take down Prates. I mean, I guess, yeah, what's his name? Leon Edwards also took down Prates, so I guess it's not too impressive. But anyways, he still did pretty good against the grappling against Shavkat. He defended like I don't remember exactly, like 8 out of 10 or 6 out of 8, something like that. Shavkat's takedowns, defended them pretty nicely. He took down Shavkat a couple times himself, so Ian Garry is very underrated when it comes to his grappling. Almost subbed MVP. I guess it's MVP, so I don't know if you want to like contribute too much of that to Ian Garry being a good grappler. By the way, he almost subbed Shavkat in the 5th round, almost subbed him. Didn't get it. Shavkat survived and lost the fight. And Ian Garry is much rangier than JDM, much more quicker when it comes to like his footwork than JDM. JDM is a little bit flat-footed when it comes to his striking. Ian Garry's fast twitch muscles, very quick. A lot of output for a kickboxer. Realistically, this is going to be a much more harder matchup, Belal Muhammad, for against Garry than it was JDM, just saying. Ian Garry, much better takedown defense than JDM, longer than JDM, much better, I want to say striking when it comes to the boxing, but he still has a pretty good output like a JDM, and he's much rangier, much taller, longer reach. Realistically, Belal Muhammad is going to lose this fight. Belal Muhammad is still very good. He for like a certain point in time, he was very good, a undefeated contender. He started Gilbert's downfall. He started what's his name? I forgot his name. Fuck, why did I forget his name? Luke. He started Luke's downfall. It took me a second to remember his name. Vicente Luque's downfall. He started his downfall. He beat Sean Brady before Sean Brady lost to Morales. Sean Brady only lost to like one guy ever, and it was a standing TKO. but he still lost to Muhammad. Muhammad is still very good. I just think Ian Garry is much better, especially stylistically. Having the takedown defense, having fast twitch muscles, very quick footwork. He's gonna be able to keep range against Muhammad. Not let Muhammad close the distance and get those takedowns. He's gonna win. I got Ian Garry, 3-round decision win. I don't think he's gonna finish Belal Muhammad. Belal Muhammad has a pretty good chin and they're pretty good grappling to not get submitted by Machado Garry. I got Ian Garry, decision win. Lightweight main event: Arman Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker. Now, I will say right off the bat, the only reason we even have this fight is because Arman is inactive. Dan Hooker needs a fight. Arman needs a fight, and they both were right there willing to take the fight. It's not because Dan Hooker is on a resurgence. I mean, listen, he is on a resurgence. He just beat Gamrot, and yeah, you can say Gamrot beat Arman, but Arman really destroyed Gamrot for I want to say he destroyed him. He won that fight. He won the first 2 rounds. He won the 4th round. The 3rd and the 5th were kind of 50-50. He won the fight. He shouldn't have lost the fight against Gamrot. That one, in my opinion, was I want to say robbery, but he should have won. Dan Hooker, he was getting out-grappled by Gamrot. There was no real, he clearly lost the first round. The second round comes, he was getting out-grappled, landed the elbows on Gamrot, and kind of was able to take that back the second round. By those elbows, hurt him, and then it hurt Gamrot. Wasn't really able to take down Hooker anymore in the 3rd round, and Hooker won the 3rd round. So it was kind of like a 50-50 fight when it comes to who was dominating what time of the fight. But they gave it to Hooker. A split decision win for Hooker. But yeah, Arman Tsarukyan, when it comes to just pure grappling, I would say he improved way more than Gamrot. And Arman right now is probably, he hasn't fought in a while. Just straight up, just he's been fighting in karate combat. He's got a grappling win. I forgot against who, a BJJ win. I don't know what they were doing exactly, what type of rule set, but he got a win in the in karate combat. He's been just grinding his grappling. You can tell. Arman on the feet, he loves his kicks. Spinning kick, up kick, axe kick, leg kick, body kick, whatever you can think of. He does it. Whatever type of kick you can think of, Arman Tsarukyan loves his kicks. He is very measured on the feet. He doesn't get in brawls, and that's what Dan Hooker thrives in, is those brawls. That's why he was doing very good against Dustin Poirier, because Dustin Poirier was welcoming Dan Hooker into a brawl. Arman Tsarukyan is very patient, very measured. He's not gonna get himself into a brawl. Realistically, he's gonna be maybe having a much better time taking down Dan Hooker than Gamrot. Gamrot has pull-up punches. Tsarukyan has decent power. Relatively to a Gamrot, I want to say he has like Ilya or like Dan Hooker type of power, Dustin Poirier power. But he has relatively decent power. On the ground, he is very scary on the ground when he takes you down. He beat Joel Alvarez. He beat him, took him down, and ground and pound finished him. Gamrot does not have a. He only holds you down. That's what Gamrot does. He only holds you down. He does not have a submission threat. He does not have a ground and pound threat. Arman Tsarukyan has a ground and pound threat. He did really good against Charles Oliveira as well. Charles Oliveira almost subbed Tsarukyan in the first round, and you can kind of say Arman survived it because of his shorts flipped, short skate, I guess you can call it. But Arman Tsarukyan still did very good after surviving the submission. Survived it and stayed on top against Charles for the rest of the first round. Second round comes, he won the second round. Third round comes, it was kind of close. Close in the striking, close in the grappling. Tsarukyan won against Charles. A lot of people say Charles won, but no, Tsarukyan did win that fight. Oh damn, my legs are falling asleep. But yeah, Dan Hooker, I mean, he's been fighting forever in the UFC. He's improved a lot since his debut. He's evolved since he's been able to keep up with the UFC when it comes to like the skill ceiling has been leveling up each generation of fighters. Dan Hooker was able to keep up. Now ranked as on a winning streak. The thing is, Dan Hooker's been losing to a lot of guys. Arman Tsarukyan only lost to, realistically, only Islam in his debut fight. He beat Gamrot, and in that fight he was doing very good against Islam. Like he won the first round. He won it. Good scrambles. Was not able to get held down by Islam for over I would say a minute or maybe 40 seconds. He was doing very good in the fight. The second round comes, he was getting held down by Islam in the second round. Third round comes, he was beating Islam on the feet, and then goes for a takedown and sold it because he got his takedown stuffed, and Islam just stayed on top. So Arman Loki sold his debut fight against Islam, almost winning that fight, but yeah, Arman is very good. Dan Hooker, relatively to an Arman, is not. Striking wise, I don't think. I mean, like I said, Dan Hooker thrives in those the brawls against a Gamrot, against a Dustin Poirier. Everybody else he fights, Nasrat Haqparast. He's very good when it comes to these brawls. Arman does not get into these brawls. He's very measured. Realistically, Arman is gonna win. He's gonna take down Dan Hooker, ground and pound, hurt Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker's after the first round, he's gonna be like, I love this shit, whatever that was, that cringy moment. it was pretty funny, but it was cringe. But either way, second round comes, then Arman Tsarukyan is gonna take him down and cut him open him up even more in the second round, and probably a doctor stoppage. I got doctor stoppage for Arman Tsarukyan in the third round. When the second round ends, third round comes, I got Tsarukyan winning. KO finish for Arman, and then he fights for the title next. So yeah, I don't see a Dan Hooker upset anytime soon. I don't see it. You can say he has the longer range. He's much taller. Arman Tsarukyan took down Joel Alvarez and finished him. So I got Arman Tsarukyan. Those are my picks for fight night: Tsarukyan versus Dan Hooker in Qatar. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe. And goodbye.